How many lovers have you made today? Chapter 8, Part 2.
Thank you.
It's difficult for Trixie to accept that she has friends like this.
Speaking about Anon, something bizarre is going on, and Trixie was wondering if you by chance knew what it might be about.
Bonbon's ears perk up.
Something bizarre?
Trixie nods a few times, while floating the candy from Bonbon's hoof into her saddlebag.
Trixie knows it's hard to imagine, but he was with Twilight this morning. He briefly said it had to do with something about her making amends, and that he needed something from her. Has he talked to you about this?
Bonbon's withers sag.
No, we had a falling out of sorts. It's complicated. Sorry, but at this point you know more than I do. Oh, Trixie is sorry to bring it up.
Trixie's ears pinned back.
It wasn't any of her business. Trixie just found it odd, is all. No need to feel sorry. You couldn't have known.
Bonbon purses her lips.
Is he doing well?
Trixie reflects on how calm and collected Anon appears to be.
He wasn't distressed. And considering Twilight was there, that's saying a lot. It's certainly a mystery.
Bonbon is reminded of her schedule, as well as Trixie's.
Sorry to keep you. I'm sure you have a lot of things to do today. As Trixie is sure you're busy with your work. Thank you for the order.
Trixie gives a thankful nod.
Trixie will be sure she's on time for the next one. You're welcome here anytime.
Bonbon waves to Trixie as she walks out of the back kitchen and towards the front. Her plastic smile fades as her mind races. Stepping into the kitchen, Bonbon turns her attention to one of her employees.
Butterhoofs?
He jumps slightly, but quickly gives Bonbon a salute, smearing chocolate on his forehead.
Yes, ma'am? I need you to work the register for a moment, please. I'm on it.
He shouts, while clearing his station as fast as he could. Bonbon takes that time to walk into the storefronts beside Lyra.
Follow me. Is something the matter?
Lyra asks.
It's important, Lyra.
Bonbon urges. Lyra's confused, but the urgency of Bonbon's voice is enough to grab her attention. So, she follows quietly behind her.
Are we low on ingredients?
Bonbon shakes her head, never breaking her stride.
No. Lyra, today's the day. For what?
Lyra's still confused. Bonbon stops in the center of the street as the ponies now filter around the two of them. She turns around to face Lyra as she continues to look at her, unsure what this is all about.
Anon is somewhere around here. We have to talk to him.
All the fur on Lyra's body stands on edge, not a single word leaving her. Bonbon quickly closes the gap and rests a hoof on her withers.
Honey, I know, but we can't keep hiding forever. What if I'm not ready?
Lyra asks fearfully.
I'm afraid it'll happen again.
Bonbon's hoof moves from her withers up to her cheek as she gives her a loving smile.
I believe in you. Just trust me.
Lyra nods a few times to reassure herself.
All right. Just please help me, should I start to slip.
Bonbon leans forward and gives Lyra a quick kiss. It's enough to calm Lyra as their eyes meet.
Easy enough. Now, let's go see our friend.
The sparkling blue eyes of Pinkie snap open as the fresh morning air wafts into her room. She springs up from her bed with a broad smile plastered on her face.
Good morning, Gummy!
Pinkie sings before looking to the extra pillow that rests beside her own. There, she finds Gummy all curled up on top.
Ready for breakfast?
He lazily opens his eyes. He looks at Pinkie for a moment before licking them, then resting his head to sleep. Pinkie shakes her own head with a playful smirk.
Oh, Gummy. Still the lazy lizard, but Mama Pinkie knows how to make you feel better.
With a swift pulling motion of one of the strings beside her bed, the curtains fly open, allowing the sun to come rushing into the room, covering the small reptile in its warming rays.
There we go. You'll be up and warm in no time.
Pinkie explains as she hops off the bed.
I'll get breakfast ready.
With no response from Gummy, Pinkie trots from her room and down into the kitchen. Once there, she takes a moment to decide what she wants for breakfast. She taps a hoof idly to her lip in thought.
I would like to cook something, but my tummy is still queasy. Nevertheless, you can't start a day without breakfast.
In one swift motion, she moves to one of her cabinets and pulls out a bowl and cereal box.
Nothing a little cereal can't fix.
With each scoop, she feels her spirits starting to soar as her mind begins to wander over what she'll be baking today. It's been some time since she last worked, and that's what's causing her a lot of anxiety, but she's sure it'll be just like what it was before she left. Though that matters little to her. Before all that stuff, she needs to head over to Fluttershy's to help her with a few things. Sure, her animals are well behaved, but feeding them all can be a hassle. And with nothing better to occupy her time, Pinkie decided to spend it on helping Fluttershy. It's hard for Pinkie to admit that she didn't know Fluttershy all that well. She was just a friend of a friend. But with everything that's happened, Pinkie has been taking her time to learn more about the ponies around her. Before any creature would just become a friend willy-nilly. Pinkie is ashamed that other than their name and perhaps birthday, she didn't know anyone very well that weren't part of the elements. And even then, she doesn't know as much as she thought either. Pinkie shakes those mopey thoughts away as she focuses on the good things she's learned. Like she's always known that Fluttershy's kind. But as it turns out, she's super smart too. Pinkie would even dare say she's just as bright as Twilight. Sure, she doesn't know much about magic, but she knows a lot about farming, as she mostly grows her food for herself and her animals. Only Sakura matches her knowledge of the Everfree, and that's impressive, seeing as no pony dares go in there. Not to mention, she's pretty handy with a needle and thread, fixing all fabric damage her animals make. Pinkie never realized how self-reliant Fluttershy was. Where she is strong in those areas, she's weak in others. What Pinkie believed was her being overly shy was actually fear of being around crowds. It took some time to understand all this, but Pinkie cherishes the time they've spent together, as she feels closer to Fluttershy in a way she's never been with other ponies. Pinkie absent-mindedly hits the bottom of her empty bowl, the ring of the porcelain and metal grabbing her attention. She takes her bowl to the sink, and makes sure to leave some food out for Gummy, just as he enters the kitchen.
Breakfast is ready.
Pinkie leans low to face her pet.
Gotta go. Be a good boy and don't make a mess.
She kisses him on top of his head as he lazily blinks.
See you later.
Pinkie bolts out of her home and trots to Fluttershy's. She still has those butterflies in her tummy, but this morning, it's just getting started. If you ask me, I think that went rather well. Anon compliments. Twilight shakes herself out of her stupor.
Well? You call that well? She hates me!
Yeah, so do I, but at least she heard you out. I wouldn't have given you the same courtesy weeks ago.
You're not helping.
Twilight huffs. Bonbon has been watching Anon and Twilight from afar as they converse with one another on the street. Her confident attitude has begun to fade as she allowed her thoughts to carry her away. Just seeing them together makes her question how much she's missed since he's left. She also wonders what will come of her confronting him. The best case is that they become friends again. But she doesn't even want to entertain the worst outcome. Bonbon stomps her hoof to regain focus. She can't doubt herself here. They've been working hard at this. Before her, though, becomes consuming. She feels a hoof rest on her flank. She turns back to see Lyra give her a reassuring smile.
I'm here.
That's right. She's not alone. It'll be an uphill battle, but thankfully Lyra and her are in it together.
Alright, let's do this.
Bonbon steels herself as she makes her way towards Anon. However, before she gets there, Anon says something first. I was wondering when you two were gonna say something. Anon turns around to face Bonbon and Lyra. Twilight looks confused, as she faces the same way he is. You've been following us for a good 10 minutes.
They have?
Twilight didn't even notice any pony following with a crowd around them. Bonbon can see it. He's trying to act relaxed, but there's a definite tension in the air. He's looking past her, and laying his eyes directly on Lyra. The fact that he's acting this way towards Lyra and not Twilight is baffling to her.
May we talk in private?
Bonbon urges. His gaze shifts from Lyra to Bonbon. Sure. He looks down at Twilight, who's clearly out of the loop. We'll talk later, Twilight. I've got other business to attend to. Remember what we talked about. Anon then puts 2 fingers in his mouth and gives a short whistle.
You called?
Lyra and Bonbon jump as they notice a bat pony standing between the both of them. Take a few minutes to yourself. I need some privacy. Blossom flies up and slowly hovers around Anon's head.
You owe me.
I'll be sure to bring you something. Anon turns his attention back to Bonbon as Blossom flies off. Where to?
I believe our store is private enough.
Bonbon answers. Perfect. Bonbon takes the lead as she walks back to the shop with Anon not far behind.
But... what?
Twilight just stands there, trying to discern what transpired. She can only sigh in defeat as she walks back to the castle. She needs to figure out how to make bits to pay for that permit, and she gets a strong feeling that Anon isn't going to help her with that.
Well...
Twilight feels her heart sink.
I'll call it a day. I feel sick.
There's too much for her to consider right now as she walks off into the crowd towards the castle. She'll figure this out. Somehow. Yeah, she'll figure it out. Somehow, some way. Probably. Anywho, let's get on to our defines donators. Top donators are 630, BadassWaffle, Onlyonething, Ceru, Orion, IronSky, and Jessie Smith. Matchback 109, JockeTF, Darkside, Written Novels, Black Manor, Pastel Skies, Austin Rollins, 2 Hex, Sir Brother Mordred, Omega, Lyra, Inside 9852, Will Chris, Twinkie, Rice, Shadowman, Luigi 88, Chelsea, Gross, the Big Smoke 369, Bobcat, GGF, Murder Princess, and many more awesome people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and love life to the fullest.